Are we live? There we go. What's going on, everybody? This is B Rad here,
And this is Postman.
and this is Poor Therapy. If you want to chit chat with us, or you need some poor therapy, or a different opinion, or anything like that, all you got to do is hit us up. We got a number, we got emails, we got all social media pages. All you got to do is message us, and yeah, it's pretty simple. There is one thing I want to try to start putting out, and because I was thinking about it the other night, I was like, what's something that I can get more interaction with? What's something I can try to get more viewers and stuff? And I was like, I'm gonna try to like get more people or whatever to just send us in their problems, and then we'll read about their problems, and then give them poor therapy or our opinions on that problem or situation or whatever. So I'm gonna make a pretty good video, one where I'm like actually trying or whatever. And then I'm gonna post that on all of the pages and stuff along with all the clips.
You think we should put up flyers, like posters?
No, I tried that. It didn't attract too much. So it's we can get.
I bet you if we could get them into the high school, we'd be getting some calls.
I had some high school people like message, but all they want to do is message the number. They don't want to go like live or talk about anything. They just want to like vent their problem on the test message, and then I give them an answer, and that's it. So it's like a text message like exchange, and that was it.
Hmm.
That's all they wanted. And I had like so many people doing that.
You should have not answered like back via text. You should be like, all right, like check in Thursday at 9:30. We'll talk about it.
Well, at the time, I've never done any of this, so like I was just like, oh, I'm getting people. Like, all right, well
I got to talk to my fans.
yeah, that's basically how it was. So I wasn't in the mindset of like retaining anything or like whatever. I was just like, all right, well, let me answer these people, and then I would answer them, and then they'd go away, and that was it. So I'm gonna try to think. I'm gonna brainstorm more of how I can try to get more people's attention and whatnot.
Okay.
I thought about that the other night.
Okay. I was thinking on the right here, if I put in enough energy into this podcast, I was like, should I be doing more? I was like, let me think about it.
I, the way I feel it is we just sit down and just talk about whatever, and whatever happens, happens. But
Speaking of whatever, get your politics out of the way.
all right, let me get my
I'll tell you why I do this, because my buddy watches the podcast like usually the day after,
yeah.
and he skips through the politics section.
All right, well, we ain't got a lot of politics.
But my dad loves the politics section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, the only politics we have is there was a group test message between all the heads of state.
With like journalists and shit in
Yeah,
the group chat.
yeah. So it pretty much just implemented that they're gonna attack Yemen, I think is what it's called.
Yemen.
Yemen, yeah. So they're gonna attack Yemen. Um, there's supposedly a lot of terrorists in Yemen.
Way to let the cat out of the bag on that one.
Well, there's another reason that they want to get rid of Yemen because it's Iran's kind of hotspot and terrorist recruitment area, and it's easier to get terrorists into other places around that area. So eventually, I do think we are going to go to war with Iran, though. But Iran put out a video of their missile bases underground. So apparently, Iran has got thousands of missile bases underground because all their military stuff, they decided that they were going to have like underground cities. And every week for the next 2 years, they're going to put out a video of each missile city they have.
I wonder if they have to deal with flooding.
I mean, it's a desert.
Right. That's why I posed the question. But almost all bunkers of any sort have to have some type of like water removal system.
That's a good question. I
Like
should.
even most basements have to have like a
Yeah.
flood drain or something.
I don't know. I'm sure they have like some type of drainage system or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially because I watched the video and it's a pretty big like base or whatever that they showed.
As big as the city underneath the pyramids.
Talking about that. All right, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We'll get to that too.
Okay.
Uh, that is actually true though. So it took me forever to find like actual real evidence of it, and the reason why is the head people in Egypt don't want any attention towards the pyramids or whatever because we've built up all this history and whatnot, and anything new that has to do with the pyramids might knock that down.
How many pyramids are there in total?
There's three big ones. I think in total there's like six, and then there's like hundreds of like tiny
Like
ones.
tombs and stuff, yeah.
But yeah. So Iran's been showing their military might.
I wonder how long it took. I wonder how long the process is to build even like the smallest tomb, because it feels like you spend your whole life building your coffin.
Well, the thing is the pyramids aren't coffins. When they went to the pyramids, they didn't find any bodies. They found like
They're antennas.
I don't know what they are exactly, but all right, we'll go ahead and go to the pyramids.
They're beaming all of our TikToks into space.
I don't believe that, but they are pointed at a star in space, so I don't know what that has to do with anything. God, I wish I would have saved that one video I watched. So I went down a couple rabbit holes,
As you do.
and we'll get back to the pyramid thing.
Okay.
What do you think supplies like all the meats for our fast food restaurants and stuff? Because I went down a rabbit hole, and it was pretty convincing. I'm not gonna lie. And the crazy thing is how I know my phone spies on me is I had a video pop up today, and it was about something, and I'll show you that video. But what do you think the meats that they're feeding people from fast food restaurants?
Be more specific. Like chicken?
Like burgers. Like, do you really think there's that many
Heads of cattle in the United States? Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
You do?
Dude.
All right, now take the United States. Now branch that everywhere.
I'm not talking about it
Because you
everywhere.
got China.
I don't care about that. I only care about the U.S. fast
Yeah,
food
but they
industry.
all have the supply chain of wherever they're getting this meat from. And I went down a rabbit hole, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So to simplify it, apparently there's a lot of missing people and a lot of missing dead people. And this video pretty much said that like for the last, decade or so that they've been mixing in human with the beef and whatever. And a bunch of people went and got different samples from different restaurants and tested it, and there was traces of human flesh and meat in the burgers. Wasn't a lot, but there's still traces of it. Now, what do you think about that? Because that's kind of crazy.
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's just, I'm going to have to send you that video.
I'll be honest. I don't understand how, like, there is as much food as there is in general. Because, like, there are 8 billion people on this earth.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. I mean, granted, most of Africa doesn't get fed, but
well, I think I read a study that 1 in 7 Americans go hungry. So, and we're like the most plentiful, wasteful nation there is.
I don't see how
anything we can't sell goes in the trash.
Well, that's actually true. The wife worked at fast food for a year, and it was just awful. The stuff
Yeah.
that they threw away. I
Yeah.
mean,
I worked there.
yeah, that's right.
Except for instead of throwing it away, I'd put it in a bag and take it home.
Liz is one of the military base. They had a lot of
Oh, okay.
like something exploded in the wood stove.
Yeah, it's pine wood.
We're gonna die.
But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of crazy. And then the video I watched, like, just it made that that right there shows just how easy it is for humans to be manipulated.
I think. In what way? I'll let you explain this first.
Just watching that video just made it more believable that there's human meat and fast food and whatnot. I'll send you that video.
See, I think it goes to show how easily influenced people are.
I mean, we are easily influenced.
Right, you're letting this video influence your way of thinking right
I mean,
now.
I'm still gonna eat there, but it was just crazy to just sit there and just watch that and think about it.
Even if it was true, I don't think anyone would really care. Like most people,
Not the like the hardcore fans.
because like what was the pink paste, the stuff that like chicken nuggets and stuff are made out
There's
of?
no chicken in it. Have you went down that?
Yeah,
It's just chicken extract.
yeah.
So it's like it's like water that they add in that tastes like chicken, which is
And they got rid of it, and then they brought it back because everyone wanted it back.
I'd rather have the real chicken. That's just me.
That's why I go Chick-fil-A, baby.
I haven't been Chick-fil-A in forever. But let me go ahead and show you that video. Just because we're on that subject right now. So let me click on here. Oh my god, did I not save it? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here we go. My bad. All right. Ready for this?
Just when you think you've heard it all, you hear that they're making your meat out of feces now.
They just made meat from your number two. Japanese scientists have developed a method to create edible steaks from human feces. Unbelievable? Well, it's happening. Mitsuyuki Aikida, a researcher at the Okayama laboratory, collaborated with Tokyo Sewage to address sewage mud excess. They discovered the content in the mud contains high protein due to bacteria. So, the team isolated and combined these proteins with a reaction enhancer. Result? Synthetic steak. The meat comprises of 63% protein, 25% carbs, 3% lipids, and 9% minerals. And it's visually enhanced with food coloring for a red hue and improved flavor using soy protein.
Ask me if you're even.
What do you think about that?
I don't believe it.
You don't believe that?
No.
It's real. Poop meat is real. Eventually, they're going to be selling that everywhere. That's going to be like a delicacy.
So is e-girl bathwater.
That's only for like the desperate guys, though. And if they're willing to buy some girls' bath water, they got bigger problems.
All right, what else you got?
All right. So Trump signed an executive order that federal elections you have to show proof of ID to vote, which that's definitely going to make all the Democrats mad. Because do you know the whole Democrat plan they had?
No.
So basically, in any Democratic state or whatever, you don't have to show your ID to vote. And basically, what they were trying to do is they were bringing in all these illegals. You know, you have those sanctuary states. They would bring all them in.
Trying to boost their numbers.
Yeah, and let them vote. And obviously, you know, if you're an illegal, you're an immigrant, don't have anything, and all of a sudden you get 15,000 in food stamps and free housing and all this, which one are you going to vote for?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Trump went, and all that now doesn't matter because you have to show your ID to vote. So now only Americans will be voting in elections from here on out, which, I mean, I'm sure there's still going to be some fraud or whatever.
Oh, yeah, there's be plenty of fake IDs and everything.
I'm sure there's going to be something like that. Let's see. Trump is still trying to find an agreement with Greenland. Greenland invited Trump's, like, I guess, foreign administrative people to come there and see if they can't talk out an idea. Putin doesn't like this idea or whatever that's going on, so Putin's against it. It's the first time that Putin's, went against something that Trump has done. So they're probably going to be going back and forth. Um, the top MS-13 gang leader was captured in Virginia. He was living in Virginia, and I can't remember who's Tom Holland or something like that. I know his name's Tom. He's the guy that's doing our border control. They went and captured him. So this is for all of our weed smokers. Watch out because they're finding trace amounts of fentanyl in weed now. So I guess the cartel is kind of pissed off that their immigration thing, because they was making more money smuggling people into America the last 4 years than they were making off drugs, because people were just like, oh well, here, I got this, get me into America. And now that all that's done and nobody can get into America, I guess they're sprinkling in some fentanyl into weed or whatever. So watch where you get your weed. Make sure it's locally grown if you can. And all right, these are just some questions I got wrote down. The political stuff is over with. Told you I didn't really have a lot of political stuff, which I didn't really have a lot of time today to really try to find a bunch of stuff because today was a mess. Haven started her softball. She wanted to do softball, so we've been doing the softball practice, whatever, and that's been taking up a little bit of time. And then just odds and ends I've been trying to get done. I was trying to rip up the bushes in front of the yard, the stumps. Broke my chain. It was a freaking $80 chain. I was pissed. Yeah, it was just a hectic day. It was pretty stressful, but I try to be humble and just grateful for what I got and just keep it going. That's all you can do. Uh, can you bring up the Discord? Because I sent you a few things, but like I said, anything I sent on Discord, I can't remember. Which we're going through this new healthy kick now.
Yeah, you dropped soda?
I did, and it's been 3 days, and for some reason this morning I woke up, and I think my kidneys is what it is, like lower in my back, like my lower back.
Okay.
They were like really sensitive for some reason. I don't know if it's like a withdrawal from soda or what, but
what do you want to know for Discord? We got a Reddit post.
What's the first Reddit post?
Dating in my 30s feels like navigating a sea.
Oh, all right. So this one is a guy. He's in his 30s and he's finding pretty much nothing but single moms.
Okay. Yeah.
And going a single guy trying to date and just finding nothing but single moms, it's kind of iffy because you never know like the situation you're going into. Like, I mean, you kind of do if the woman talks about it or whatever, like what happened to the ex and whatnot. But no matter what, you're dating the kid's mom, you're gonna pick up some stepdad responsibilities. Like, that's just how it is. And I'd have to say it's pretty tough. Just for me, once being a single dad, and luckily I got lucky and found my soulmate. I can only imagine what other guys are going through and having to deal with all that. So, to the guy that's in the sea of single moms, just try to find the best one. It's gonna be hard. You got any opinions on this guy?
Uh, I was at the bar the other night with my dad, and
Oh,
he was perusing the crowd, the women, and he kept
stalking the prey.
yeah, and he kept making comments and whatnot about like being too ugly and like too fat or whatever. And finally, he was like, "These are all grandmas," and I was like, "Yeah, you're looking for the moms, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, dude, you're 52 years old. Like, what do you expect to be out there right now?
That is true.
But you're right. I mean, dating while you're young, it's like, it's just you're kind of taking responsibility for another person.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, it's like you're taking more responsibility, like as a family, not just
Yeah.
another individual.
So if a woman's got kids, you got to take that into consideration. Uh, you're gonna have to play the stepdad part, and just being a dad's hard. So being a stepdad, to having to deal with those, and not really, like some women, like when a guy goes into the stepdad spot or whatever, you have no control. So like if the kid's a brat, like you just
Yeah.
let it
So, I
be a
mean,
brat.
and then there's like the horrible situation of like, what if you're deeply in love with her, but you absolutely hate the kid?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Or I think even worse is what if you have a connection with the kid
And hate the woman.
and hate the woman,
Uh, yeah,
Because it's like once you split, it like you're the one-time stepdad. Like you don't get to have a relationship with that kid anymore. Not really.
yeah. Ugh. Oh, I'm just glad I ain't got to deal with that.
Yeah, me too.
That's a mess.
I locked it down early.
For the people that are going through that, just make sure you find a woman that like set her down and be like, hey, like if I'm gonna be in your life and the kid's life, like I'm gonna be taking stepfather role, so I'm gonna, you know, have the rights of a stepfather. If the kid acts up, you know, make sure you correct it.
It's a weird field because
It is a weird field.
it's like like
It's taken. Well, it's not taken. It's, I guess it's like joint, because if the dad is still in the kid's life, then you're like a half dad, you know. But it's still like, you're putting time and effort towards the kids as well.
yeah, like when do you kind of get the right to start being a father figure? You know what I mean? Like,
I say as soon as the relationship starts. Like, if that woman wants that guy to be a part of her and that kid's life, like right there's when it starts. So just get to know the woman. And if you're a girl, make sure you get to know the guy. Make sure you know his tempers and his moods and all that. And the same goes with the guy. So that's a hard field to navigate. Just try your best. That's all I got for that. That's a rough one. What's the other one? I can't remember. I remember I sent you something on Facebook, and it was about scientists were examining uh, male sperm from different areas of the world, and all of them 100% had microplastics in the sperm. And do you know what microplastics are doing to us?
Mm.
So, if you microwave or heat up any food that's in any type of plastic or, like stuff like that, tiny microscopic, like little plastic material gets mixed in with that food.
Yeah, it's no better than drinking from a water bottle.
Yeah, basically. Uh, that gets into your system and it goes through like all your blood barriers and stuff like that. And eventually it goes down to your reproductive area and it mixes in with your guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, over time, scientists have proved that the microplastics are shrinking our testicles, your junk, and do you know what the taint is? It's it's overall just shrinking everything. So eventually, in like I think I read like the time frame was like 10,000 years or something. That the male is pretty much just going to be gone. So we'll have like whatever, basically like an alien is. No private area.
You think aliens don't have genitals?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they do or don't, but like the TV alien or whatever is just
The
like,
gray men.
yeah, the gray man or whatever. It's just like, just the body and then the big eyes and the big head. Eventually, I mean, that's going to be a thing because the microplastics are, I forget exactly what they're doing, but they're like eroding our manhood basically. So yeah, it's that's pretty depressing. Hopefully they fix that some way. I don't know how they would fix that though, because I mean, if everything we use, there's something of plastic. Water bottles, like all of our most of our food come in like plastic bags or containers or something like that. So it unless we find some type of new material that's easy to make things out of and we can switch it, we're just gonna keep polluting ourselves basically. But yeah, that was something I read. What was the other thing?
My fiance told me she was going on a girls' trip, so I had her plane ticket redacted or redirected.
Oh, okay. So I read this one. So basically, this guy was dating, I think it's his wife or fiance.
Yeah, it's fiance.
Yeah, so they've been dating for 3 years, and he didn't think anything of it. And I don't even know why I sent you this really, but he didn't really think anything of it. And she has this work boyfriend, work friend, and basically she said that she has to go uh, on a work trip or something, and never said anything about like the work boyfriend coming. And she's paying out of her own money, so she's paying for the trip to wherever she's going with the work boyfriend. So she's paying for the work boyfriend too. So yeah, it's and I'm sure this happens all the time. That's why like you got to be I wouldn't say paranoid, but you definitely have to be cautious. If you think your partner is, you know, spending too much time with a work colleague and whatnot, you should probably, question it. Uh, Thankfully, I don't have that problem. Um, but yeah, that just goes to show that, and like I said, like, that everybody's different. So just because this happened to this guy doesn't mean it's going to happen to, whoever's watching or us or this or that. But yeah, if your woman is spending too much time with a guy at work, you should probably figure out what's going on. And then if you find out that she paid for the plane ticket and paid for his, you should probably have a long talk with her and figure out what's going on there. Um, but yeah, I don't even know why I sent you that. I thought maybe I thought it was something else. All right, what's the next one?
News article. Study identifies link between high salt diet and depression.
Oh, so they found out that if you have too much salt, it does something into your brain and it causes a protein, some protein in your brain that has to do with like your happy feeling. And what it does is your brain, if you have too much salt, that reaction or whatever doesn't happen. And then so like you just get like the I don't know, get like the what's the word I'm looking for? It just makes you like more depressed. Like your brain can't get to that like serotonin level. So you're just like, the mopey, like whatever. And our American diet is overloaded with salt.
Oh yeah, especially frozen foods.
Yeah. So anything with high sodium, which is 90% of everything in our stores.
Well, because it's also a preservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So that's basically probably why a good majority of Americans are probably depressed because of the high salt content and everything. So if everybody would, it would suck. But if everybody would just eat like vegetables and, just hamburger and steak and stayed away from everything that has high sodium, I'm sure the depression levels in America would probably go down a bit. Are you all right over there? Do you have anything?
Sorry, it's getting a little smoky in there. I got a tickle in my throat.
You want me to turn on the fan?
Nah, it's okay.
I probably shouldn't have started that fire then.
Let's see. I've been moody lately.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been real bummed out, and I'm having a really hard time putting my thoughts into words. And it's like I don't know. I just have such a hard time just talking to people.
Have you still been like working out and
Yeah.
doing physical stuff?
Yeah.
You think that might be just a side effect of the medicine you was on?
I mean, I should be past all the side effects by now. I would think. I would hope. Uh, I don't know. I just wish I could be more vocal. And it's like such a polar opposite of how I used to be. I feel like I used to be very opinionated and would freely give like advice and stuff. And like one of my closest friends, we had a real like come to Jesus moment back in 2019,
Yeah.
and he changed his life like completely around for the better. And
Now, what made him like change and choose that exactly?
well, I mean, he gives me the credit. I mean, not entirely, but a good portion.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to think like please don't take this as me taking full credit for your transformation because I'm not. Uh, but it's just weird that I influenced someone so much and they were able to change turn their life around. And I go from that to like quiet as a mouse, like almost rarely ever giving my real opinion on something.
Hmm. I get into moods like that to where, like, if somebody says something and I know, like, something or, like, have some extra knowledge or whatever of it, I'll be like, no. I was like, I'll just be quiet. Like, it doesn't really even matter. They'll just forget or something like that.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I'm trying to think of how you could go about, like, maybe, because really the only way to try to get out of that is like to force yourself out of like a comfort zone.
Yeah, and I've been trying to.
And it's hard, like forcing yourself out of a comfort zone.
Yeah,
Because I've tried multiple times, like I said, like at the bar or whatever. Like I tried to force myself like out of my, I guess, like antisocial self or whatever, and like even like going up to like dance or whatever, like I was like trying to force myself to get up, and then like right as soon as I was like right there, like something would just shut me down, and I was just like, well, no, like
yeah.
I'll just wait, like
And then like if you do go through with it, it's so exhausting. Like it took so much energy to get yourself to like do something.
yeah. Hmm.
But I've been, I guess forcing myself to be more social and whatnot,
How have you been forcing yourself to be more social?
hanging around people more.
Okay.
Um,
See, that's something I have to start doing. Which, for me, it's hard because
you got the
yeah,
kids.
I gotta drag my kids around everywhere until they start going to school. Well, until my littlest one starts going to school, and then I can start to branch out and be more social. But if I want to drag her like to here and there, and just for my benefit of being social, but I'll probably just wait till she goes to school. Let's see. Trying to think of something.
But I've been so moody lately, and the wife asked me the other day if I was having any suicidal thoughts. And I said no. Every time, like, I mean, well, yes and no. Like, no, I haven't really had any real suicidal thoughts, but like I've had a thought creep in here and there.
Just like a mad like thought like, oh, if I could have like a split second one. Is that
Yeah,
what you're talking
I
about?
mean, kind of. I mean, not mad, but more like I give up.
Yeah.
Disappear me from this
I
earth.
think everybody has those though.
And every time I think about it, I think about this kid named Mason that killed himself. He was he lived across the street from me.
Why did he kill himself?
I don't know. He was in the army. I don't know if he did it while he was in or not.
Oh, I know.
But I've been thinking about, like, every time I think about suicide, I think about him, and then it just makes me think like how life just goes on even though he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not. I mean, the only thing that's changed is that people are sad that they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the rough thing about life is that if, somebody does happen, like they just can't take it anymore and then just check out, like, your family and your friends and all that still have to pick up the pieces after all that, and
Yeah.
then that never goes away, and then it's even worse. Like I couldn't even imagine like being a parent and having to go through that. That'd be rough.
I mean, yeah, you feel like you failed as a parent.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't, for one, you couldn't, like, you didn't raise your kids enough, or you didn't prepare them for the real world.
Yeah.
Or it's like, in your kid's darkest moment, you either weren't or couldn't be there for them to help them through it.
Yeah, to branch off on that, me and my oldest kid had a pretty interesting conversation on the way home today, and so I get it. I'm dad, so I'm not gonna be like the one that she runs to, like when she's got a secret or something like that. Because
Okay.
I'm more. I try to, for me, I try to be like the fun dad, but I also want to be strict.
Like stern,
Yeah,
authoritative.
like I like. All right, I want to be I want to set my kids up the right way to where, they can go through life and they're not kind of overwhelmed by things and whatnot. Because, like, for me, I kind of just, basically, like, yeah, I had a great mom and everything, but I kind of basically raised myself. And then, I got of age and kind of just throwing myself out there. Didn't have no idea, what I was doing, this or that. So for me, I want to try to make sure, like, my kids have some type of, path or like blueprint or something. Like, you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So we was just driving home or whatever, and then she was sitting there talking, and uh, basically, I forget how we got on the subject, but I was like, like, you don't have to go through any of that stuff. And we was started talking about like how I grew up and whatnot, and I was like, you don't have to go through the same struggles that I went through. You have a room, you have a house, like, you know, I really didn't have that growing up. I was bouncing back and forth here and there. Really didn't have my own bedroom until I was like, what, 14, 15, somewhere in there. Uh, I was just like, I want to make sure that you grow up differently than I did. So hopefully you have a better life. You'll start off different. So hopefully you'll, you know, get more things and, just have a better life overall. So it was just I don't know, it's a weird conversation to have, and I hate how technology has basically forced kids to grow up. Because I can tell, like my 8-year-old kid does not act 8 years old or whatever. She acts like 12, 13, 14 years old. Like, the questions she asked me is not a question that 8-year-olds should ask me. And it just
Well, okay. All right. So you got.
you're gonna go through. Well, you're gonna go through this if you allow an iPad or TV to raise your kid, and you will see the like I can see the differences already between my two kids. Like, it's if you want them to have an imagination and be creative, limit the iPads, limit the TV time, make them go outside, make them play. You know, if you want them to be too smart for their own good, know too many things, let them have the iPad.
But isn't that kind of a good thing? Isn't, knowledge is power? And it's like,
For me, no. Like, I would much rather have my 8-year-old kid be outside playing all day. She can learn about all this crap when, she's 12, 13, 14, 15, when the time comes. I'd rather much be like outside or whatever. That's mainly why, like, encouraging her to play softball and this and that and try to get her into, these other sports and whatnot. Just to try to make her, like, be a kid, like, play, like, just be a kid. Because if not, she'll stay upstairs and play Minecraft and watch her iPad all day. And that's all she want to do. She don't want to go outside. Like, I'd have to beat her to go outside. So, I do not beat her, by the way. I don't want somebody clipping this.
he does. He does.
But yeah, so it's just raising kids now is not the same as it was.
It's never the same. I mean, people think like decades, every 10 years is different. Every 5 years is different.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
I mean, especially at the rate things are changing.
Oh yeah, like I said, in the 15 years, we're all gonna have robots.
Yep.
And for some reason, you refuse to believe
I
that.
do not believe it.
It's going to happen.
No.
There's going to be some company, you know, it might not even be 15 years. It might be like 20.
I'm not talking about this.
All right. Never mind.
Every episode
All right,
for
never
like
mind.
10 episodes.
I don't know why I'm stuck on it.
I don't know why either.
But yeah, getting back to the whole kid thing, like, it's. Don't let an iPad or TV, even though it's so much easier just handing that over and then doing whatever you need it to do, don't do it. Because it kills their imagination. It kills whatever creative, you know, tendencies they were going to have. It just drops right off. So, yeah, and it's tough because she wants a cell phone because all of her friends at school have a cell phone.
An 8-year-old?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
There was kids in kindergarten that had a cell phone.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably just for like games and stuff. I doubt it.
Wow, she wants a cell phone because all the other kids have cell phones. And I told her, I was like, you are not getting a cell phone.
Get her a flip phone.
She ain't even getting a flip phone. I told her, I was like, once, you know, you get a little bit older and, you know, an adult isn't picking you up from school or something like that, then we will talk about getting you a cell phone. And if you do get a cell phone, you're going to get a flip phone. Not only are you going to get a flip phone, but I'm going to have like all the control on it.
So, what age do you think you're going to give her a cell phone?
I don't know. I don't even want to think about that.
I think 10.
10?
Yeah.
Let's see. 10, she would be in 4th grade, I think. Nah, that's still too early, I feel like. 4th grade and having a cell phone. I didn't get a cell phone until I was able to start working and pay for my own cell phone bill. So I got a cell phone when I was 14, and I had 1 month that my mom was able to pay the bill on, and then after that we just couldn't afford it. And I had a cell phone, but it just didn't work. And at the time, you know, we didn't know about hooking up to Wi-Fi and all that other crap, and so I just carried the cell phone with me. I guess to try to act like I had a cell phone that worked. But
Girl, let me get your number.
I didn't
I'll
have
never call you.
I didn't have an actual cell phone until I started paying my own cell phone bill, which was 18, middle, almost 19. That's when I got my first Android. And I thought that thing was so cool. Yep.
I think I got my first smartphone freshman year. So I was like 14.
Spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah. I think definitely by driving age, have a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably end up doing that, but I don't even want to think about that. Like that's, I just want to enjoy the simple times.
Actually, old enough to work, 14. I would say that's a good age to definitely have a cell phone. Like if you're, especially if they do have a job at 14, like I think I'd want them to have a cell phone.
Well, the good thing is you know, see what's the legal age to work?
I thought it used to be 14. You got to have like a note from school.
Yeah, but like a family business.
Oh, I don't think
I
there
wonder
is.
what that is.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, probably to be on an official payroll, like 14, but before that, I mean, probably.
Well, she's gonna be working during the summer. If she ain't got softball practice or whatever, she's gonna be working, making her money. And I already got a plan for that. So whatever money she makes, she can have half of it. The other half is going into a bank account. And then whenever she turns 18, she can have that half. She can hopefully do something responsible with it. But usually at 18, people are still dumb, still young, and she'll probably just blow it on something. So I'll probably have more control over what she does with it. I'm like, no, I was like, if you're gonna do something, you can either get a new car or, we'll, you know, pay your tuition or whatever. We'll figure something out. But I do plan on having her work during the summers since you know we have that option.
Yeah.
So I do got some questions.
I think I started working with my stepdad 11 or 12.
Yeah,
I think 12.
let's see. I started working. I started working about 14, 15, but I didn't get paid until my McDonald's job, which was 17, 18, somewhere in there. Yeah. Oh, McDonald's.
I have a story. This is completely random.
Okay, let's hear it.
You're probably going to think this is funny because you're a jerk. But my stepbrother, when I was like 6 years old, we had just, I think we were still living in my stepfather's trailer at the time.
Yeah.
And I think we had just kind of moved in, kind of. We had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Anyways, we were home alone. And he's got 4 years on me, so he was 10. And he told me he was going to watch a Christmas movie. He had a friend over. I don't remember who it was. But then we were going to watch a Christmas movie. And I'm pretty sure he told me it was Elf 2, the sequel to Elf.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be The Hills Have Eyes.
The Hills Have Eyes. All right, refresh my memory.
Oh, my God.
What is that?
Family's on a road trip. They're in the desert. They stop.
Is that where like the mutant people?
Or like near the bomb testing areas.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're living like the.
Yeah, I remember that. All right.
Okay.
All right.
They made me watch it.
Was you scared?
I was. It fucking traumatized me for years.
Is that the first movie you got scared off of?
Nah.
I remember my first movie.
My first movie's funny.
What's your first movie?
The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. What the fuck is the Lost
It's
Boys?
like a teen vampire movie.
Oh, okay. It's got Brad Pitt in it, I think.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I think he was a vampire in something. But
Oh, that's a Interview with a Vampire.
yeah, it might be what I'm talking about. But my first scary movie that scared me, and I'm going to say it, but I was gonna spin off on something else. You remember Candyman?
Yeah.
So that was the first movie I seen. I was like 9, maybe. I can't remember the exact time. But that was the first movie I seen, and it like kind of frightened me a little bit. But now I don't know. Like, do you get scared if you watch scary movies now?
Not really. I mean,
I don't-
jump scares will give me, but they're jump
See, I don't
scares.
even get jump scares. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's because of.
TikTok.
Oh God. Time out, people.
I guess my first real horror movie that I was scared by was the original It, Stephen King's It.
Oh, okay.
I was scared to use the bathroom. I thought he was going to get me out of the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even like. That's one reason why I don't watch scary movies now is because like, I don't know if it's like my mind just know like, I just know it's like just not real and like I just can't get past that or something. But anytime I watch a scary movie, it's been a long time because like I said, I just don't watch them now because I find them just boring and pointless.
I have like a horror weakness, I think.
What
Like
do you mean?
So like almost any horror movie isn't going to scare me. But there's like one like type of horror that will get me every time. You know what I'm saying?
What is that, like a demonic
No.
type horror?
A lot of what I mean, a lot of Eldritch horror stuff. So like Lovecraftian and stuff like that.
That's the good horror, though.
Or like I mean, I guess it'd be body horror. Not like Saw or stuff like that. Like that's torture porn. But like
Torture porn.
you ever heard that before?
I have not.
Yeah. Uh but like okay, there's a movie I just cannot watch. Slither.
Slither. All right. What is it about?
Uh like little meteorite comes out of space, infects this dude. Is the dude that fuck, I can't remember. Let me just
Yeah,
yeah.
Google it. I've probably seen it, but I've seen so many movies now. Is
There's the
that?
cover.
Oh, it's like a leech.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it like my ultimate weakness is anything that penetrates a
Like a
woman.
parasite.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh, you mean like a penetrates a woman?
Yeah, so like I can't handle rape or stuff like that, or
Oh, okay.
like anything that goes into a woman that should not be going into a woman.
I mean, that's pretty normal though.
But I'm just saying, like that's the only thing that like will
Like affects you.
like freak me the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
I'll have my heart will start pumping and I'll fucking get the sweats.
Starts. Oh god.
and but the main biggest thing, it makes me uncomfortable. That's what it is. I'm not scared. I'm just uncomfortable. And yeah.
Okay. So I got 4 questions here. I'm gonna try to have some questions that deal with kind of like life type stuff or whatever.
Okay.
So the first one is, what do you think is the purpose of life? So this is gonna be a good one. What is that noise?
I don't know.
I heard a bobcat the other night.
Yeah.
It was right like I probably say about 300 yards back. Heard like a woman screaming, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, there's nothing back there but fields and woods." And I sat there for a second, and I heard it again, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bobcat." Relax, just a stink bug.
Just a stink bug.
But yeah, what do you think the purpose of life is?
What do I think the purpose of life is?
Yeah. Give me your opinion on it.
Okay. Well, I think there's two different questions. What the purpose of life or the meaning of life?
I mean, that's basically the same, ain't
I
it?
think it's two different things. I think the purpose of life is just to survive and reproduce.
Yeah, but like everybody has like a different adventure, kinda.
No, but that's not the question. What is the purpose of life?
Okay, all right, I get what you're saying.
Now, the meaning of life,
Okay,
like what does it all mean? What is it all,
I see where you're going there. It took me a second.
like? What is it all for? I've been thinking about that question a lot. Actually, I've been thinking about like when my kid asks it to me.
Yeah.
And I think I want to tell them. I think my current answer is the meaning of life is whatever you want it to be, whatever you make it to be.
Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Like you got to find like your own definition for it.
Yeah.
Like for like what's worth living for.
You got to find your own meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's religion, then that's religion. If that's cocaine, then that's cocaine. But for me, it's my wife and family.
Yeah.
And not much beyond that. I don't feel like any.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Like like hypothetically, God, I don't even know what I would do. But hypothetically, if something happened to your family and they were no longer here, what would you do with your life? I don't even know, like, because like basically, I'm living my life for my family in a way.
I think I would just travel.
Travel,
I think I'd have a car to my name, and that'd be it.
RV,
Not even an RV.
no, just sleep in the driver's seat.
Yep.
Ugh. Hopefully, we never have to experience that. All right.
That's just if they just like poofed, like gone, no explanation, no nothing. If they were like murdered or something, then my entire life would be getting revenge. But
Yeah. See, I would too, honestly.
and the whole thing about like I hate the argument against like revenge, because it's like depending on the level of revenge. I think like if someone wipes out your whole family, I think that is deserving for you to go full rampage
Now,
mode.
how would you like kill this person? Would you torture them, or would you just like, oh, like right in there, right in the heart, and then it's over? I'd torture them.
Yeah, I'd probably torture
Yeah,
them.
I mean, I don't know what that says about my character, but if somebody took out my family, I'd torture them.
You ever watch a TV show with The Punisher?
Is that with the dude that plays off The Walking Dead?
Yeah, John Berthel.
Yeah, he's actually like, I actually like that guy.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good podcast. But anyways, uh, one of the reasons I love The Punisher so much is his story. And so, like, basically, he's a Marine. He comes home for vacation or whatever. He goes to a park that his family always goes to. And all of a sudden, all these gangs show up
Yeah.
and kill his family and stuff, right? And it turns out, like, deeper conspiracy, he was the target. But he ends up finding the dude that set him up was his so-called best friend. And I love the final episode of season 1 where Frank gets his revenge on, I think his name's Billy. I think it's Billy. Uh, he's like, they're at the carousel, and he's like holding his head, and then they're both looking in the mirror, and he's like, I see them every time I close my eyes. I see them, Billy, and he's fucking bashes his head into the mirror, scrapes it across the broken glass. Gah, that gets my blood pumping.
I might have to watch that. All right.
Next question.
Do you believe in fate or free will? I think it's free will.
Well, that's a toughie.
Because, I mean, everything has like a cause and effect type thing. Like if you decide this, then there's these consequences, or like, you get what I mean?
I think free will. The only thing that makes me question it is if it's time. Like if time is a fluent like thing, then I feel like that means that it's all fate. But we have no way to like, you know.
Yeah. I think, this is just my opinion, but I think for time,
I think time is just a concept. I don't think it is a. There's something in my hair.
no.
Okay. All right. I felt a little twitch. There are wasps in here. Anyways, I think time is just a concept. I don't think it's like a tangible thing that like you can tap into or that exists.
I think time is like I don't know. That's a tough one because every time I think of it, it kind of changes a little bit. Because in a way, like time is just like the effects of like energy decay. Like right now, our cells are aging, everything's aging. Would that be effect of time, or would that be effect of the energy loss, which causes the effect of time? Like, get what I'm saying? Or I could just be spouting nonsense.
What's the next question?
All right. If you could know the absolute truth about one question, what would it be? Oh, my question: the afterlife. I want to know what's after this. Do we all actually have souls and spirits, and go to this or that, or is it just nothing? Like we existed at this point in time. We did whatever we did at that point in time. We passed away. That was it. That would be mine. I think that's like the ultimate one.
I mean, either that or like how it all started. I'm
Nah,
trying to think of an equivalent question to your.
that is true. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, did you hear about the new thing that they think our universe might be inside of another black hole? So they're thinking because they observed, I think, like 200 something uh galaxies and whatnot, and they found out that 2/3 of them spin one way, and then 1/3 of them spin the other. And the only thing that they could come up with that would make it do that is if it had the effects of a black hole, and is if we were inside of a black hole. And I don't really get that. Like I can't wrap my head around that.
I don't understand how black holes work.
But that's the new, like, I guess the new guesswork of our universe. So we're a universe inside of a universe, which I guess you could call that like the multiverse in a way. Because I mean, you got to think, like, where does all that energy and matter go when it enters a black hole? Does it just get dumped down into the next universe, and then that starts, you know, making a new universe?
Brother, I don't know. I thought they were just heavy balls.
We honestly don't even know what they are.
Next question.
All right. Do you think people are inherently good or bad? I think it's kind of both, because I've met shitty people and I've met really good people. So, and I've met shitty people that were raised good, and I've met bad people, or I've met good people that were raised bad. I was gonna say, like, I guess it's depending on how they're raised, but I just knocked that out. That's a tough one.
I guess. I think if you boil us down to our basic instincts, selfishness plays a big role.
So the character of the person,
What do you mean?
like how they are as a person. So if they're selfish or whatever, then they're not really gonna help out, or be around people or whatnot, and then they're only gonna do things if it interests them or benefits them.
Yeah, but I feel like selfish is such a negative and kind of harsh word because it's like, is it selfish to be like self sustaining? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it selfish to take care of yourself?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't think I don't think people are inherently one way or another. Uh, I don't know. That is kind of a tough one.
I think it has more to do on how they're, like, brought up and raised, because I think that has more of a factor in if they're good or bad. But it also has to do with, like, your perception and their perception.
Right, but the question was,
Are people inherently good or bad?
yeah. So like a newborn baby,
Yeah,
is that baby good or bad?
I mean, I would hope it'd be good.
I would hope so too.
because like a baby's kind of innocent. Maybe this question doesn't. Maybe this one wasn't a good one.
You got another one?
Nah, I only had 4.
Okay.
I'll try to come up with some other ones on our next one. Got anything you want to say?
I don't think so. And we're over time, so.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and get off. If you want to talk to us, we got a number. If you have something that you're going through in life or whatever, you can text the number and we'll talk about it on the podcast and give you poor therapy or our opinion. If you don't feel comfortable texting the number, you can email, you can message us on, any of our social media sites. And yeah, we'll get your question and we'll give you some poor therapy. So have a good night.
Peace.
Later. Bye bye.